Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Hey, folks, good Thursday morning to you. Welcome to the show. Senior producer Ryan Nicholson in charge of things across the way this morning. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaylor text, 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show comes to you from the Gearin Construction Studios, right on time, right on budget. Visit Gearin-construction.com. Phone calls to the show, a service of Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, Spring Street, Charleston. Texting services provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony Vitaylor on Virginia Street. Dressed to impress for the Derby. And also don't forget Tony for those graduation suits, too. Tony Vitaylor on Facebook or visit bestmastertaylor.com. Coming up on the show this morning, Thursday edition of the show. Getting closer to the weekend, Jason Quintrell and Lisa Pack from Union Mission are going to stop by to tell us about some things that they've got going on. I know that they've been down in McDowell County over the last couple of weeks trying to help out with some of the flood recovery efforts down there. So we'll get a checkup on that. Plus, I got some other things going on, too. We'll talk to them coming up a little bit later on. Also, Delegate Hollis Lewis will be stopping by as well. It'll be interesting to get his take on the recently wrapped up legislative session. We'll talk to him. Plus, TJ Meadows is in to give us a preview of Talkline. He and Mr. Wilson coming up 10:06 with Metro News Talkline. So we got all that to get to, and your calls and texts too. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaylor text, 304-935-5008. Let's welcome into the show now from the Charleston Dirty Birds, our good friend Jill Gearin. Jill, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Baseball is back, and we'll be playing soon over at the ballpark for real. But this Saturday, unofficially, I guess, the kickoff or first pitch, as it were, for the upcoming season, the Mart Home Run Derby. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we're excited. This is our second Home Run Derby presented by Mart. A lot of people think of home run derbies as kind of an all-star break, but we decided to use it as a way to kick off the baseball season for a number of reasons. One, obviously, we want fans to get excited about the season. Opening day is May 2nd. But also, this is a great opportunity to meet some of our new players. About 80% of the roster is new guys. Mm-hmm. And when gates open at 5 o'clock, every single one of our players will be there to sign autographs until about 5:30. It's the only time during season that you have access to every single player at once.
Now, are you doing the, for lack of a better term, VIPs from the communities taking part in the Home Run Derby this year?
Not this year, to be honest. Not many of them were able to hit the ball out of the infield. So we decided to leave it to the professionals.
Probably a good idea.
This year. But we do have something really exciting that's new this year. There is interactive voting for the bracket of who you think is going to win. You scan the QR code, we're going to hand out a flyer, and it's going to be on the video board. You select who you think is going to win that round, and if you select correctly, immediately you'll be emailed a coupon for something like a free hot dog, a free soda, free popcorn. If you guess correctly in the championship round, you get a free ticket to opening day.
So how is the Home Run Derby itself for the players? How is that going to work out this year? How are you going to do that?
So there's going to be 6 or 8. I have not been given the names yet. All of our guys just showed up yesterday, so we're kind of scrambling right now. But we're going to have 6 or 8 guys. It's 2 minutes of normal. The baseballs are presented by Army National Guard. The white baseballs are being hit for 2 minutes. If you hit one over the wall, it's a point. And then the last minute is our Mart green money balls. If you hit that over the wall, it's 2 points. And then after that, it's like a normal home run derby where if you hit the most points, most home runs, you move on to the next round.
I mean, I would think that for the players, too, this is kind of an exciting thing, kind of get them jacked up and ready for the season. And, of course, they're athletes, so they're going to be competitive with each other.
Exactly.
And whatever happens out on the field is going to carry on throughout the season in the locker rooms and things of that nature, right?
Exactly. I mean, last year, one of our guys, Tillman Pugh, who participated, he said this is his first ever home run derby, and he'd been a professional baseball player for over 10 years, and this is his first home run derby, so he was excited about it. And not just the guys that are participating. You see, if you watch the MLB home run derby, they get so excited just watching their teammates competing, and we're going to have that exact same issue with all the other 20 guys.
I mean, they're as into it in watching the MLB home run derby, as you said, Jill. They're as into it as what the fans are sometimes.
Yep, yeah. So I'm excited. It's always really fun to see the fans interact, to see the players interact, not only with the fans, but with each other. And it's kind of my personal first experience of seeing what the personalities are like on the team also.
And you've said the boys are back in town now?
Yep. So a lot of them arrived between Monday and Tuesday this week. Today we actually have our first scrimmage going on. That's going to be in about an hour. So we're excited. Baseball's here.
And as we talk about it, every time we have you here to get ready for the season, the kind of baseball that the Dirty Birds do, you don't have the traditional spring training where you're going off to Arizona or Florida or whatever. I mean, you train in town pretty much. They're doing their things in their respective hometowns. I get that, but as far as a collective unit, you're doing spring training here at the ballpark.
Right. So what the affiliates do, the major league affiliates do, they have their pitchers and catchers report in February, and they're ramping up as a team. With the Dirty Birds and other independent league teams, these pitchers are ramping up on their own, and they're basically expected to be at 90-95% when they step foot in Charleston, which a lot of them are. And their first real, quote-unquote, real game is April 25th in Lexington, Kentucky, and our first one at home is May 2nd.
And, of course, I'll have you on. What day of the week is May 2nd on?
That's a Friday.
It's a Friday, so that's been our tradition for the last couple of years. You come in, you bring the managers in, you bring a couple players, and we got a lot bigger studio now because we can get 3 of you in here, and I think 3 in the isolation booth where Ryan is in there. So we'll bring the whole team if we have to in here. You talked about the players that are coming in. About 80% of them, I think you said, are new. Is that right? Okay.
Yep.
And so where are they coming from?
All over the place. Again, I just got the official list yesterday, and so what's funny is not all the guys that are at spring training actually make the opening day roster, so it is kind of a bit of a tryout. In terms of other countries, we got some Venezuelans, some Cubans, Dominicans, a few Puerto Ricans, and then all over the country we have guys who have played in the Brewers organization, in the Angels organization. So it's, again, I literally just got the names less than 24 hours ago, so I'm still learning about the guys, but all over the world.
And that's one of the things I like about this affiliation, Jill, that the Dirty Birds have now, is that these are guys it's not just like, when you're playing typical minor league baseball, it's your 18, 19-year-olds trying to work their way up. You got a few of those, but you also got some guys who are like 30. You know, it goes all across the board. Right.
Are the 2 names that I know of from last year that you might recognize, Kyle McGowan, he's a former big leaguer, and so is Kivas Sampson. They're both going to be in our starting rotation. So it's going to be great for some of our younger guys in their early 20s to be able to look up to these former big leaguers and talk to them. And then, like you said, we have these guys who maybe aren't trying to make it back to the league, and then we have some guys that are trying to make it back. So it's a really fun, diverse group.
Talking to Joe Gearin of the Dirty Birds, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan. With more than $20 billion recovered, they believe that when you're injured, you deserve more. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. We'll have you on, as I said, on opening day, maybe a couple times between now and then. Of course, you're always on during the regular season. But for the fans, give us a little preview of what we can expect at the ballpark this summer. Anything new? Anything exciting? Anything get you all juiced up? What do we got?
May's going to be packed. We have 20 home games in the month of May. So if it's good weather, come on out to the ballpark. There's going to be a lot of fun promotions. Like always, every Friday has a giveaway. Opening day is going to be a commemorative coin to celebrate our 20th anniversary of the ballpark opening on the corner of Lewis and Moore Street. So we're excited about that. Every Saturday will always be fireworks as well. Sundays, kids 12 and under get in for free. So that's really exciting too. Other promotions, our staples are back. Women Making a Difference Night, African American Heritage Night, Celebration of Labor, but you can see all of our promotions at dirtybirdsbaseball.com.
The one that I'm going to go ahead and throw out there right now, we're going to be doing, our stations are going to be doing a lot of stuff there. I'm going to go ahead and give you little sneak preview of something we're excited about. We're going to be doing an 80s night over there.
Oh, yeah.
With our sister station, of which I'm on that station too, 98.7 The Mountain, Wild, Wonderful, Classic Rock. And anytime you put me and you put Steve Animal out there and you put Shockley out there, and we're out there enjoying a little hair band music. 80s night's going to be, we'll be giving you all the details on that, but we're seriously excited about that.
Yep, that's a Saturday in August. I want to say the first Saturday in August. So we're going to have 80s music being played for the fireworks too. And the day before that is a shirt giveaway that is also presented by The Mountain. So we're excited. Yeah,
we are excited. All right, let's get back to the Home Run Derby before we let you go. I know you got plenty of information about it on your social media, but give us the time, give us all the stuff.
So gates open at 5 o'clock. Remember, get here early on Saturday because our players will be signing autographs and taking photos for the first 30 minutes. First, quote-unquote, pitch is 6 o'clock for the Home Run Derby. You can get all of your tickets at dirtybirdsbaseball.com.
All right. Joe Gearin of the Dirty Birds, it's always a pleasure. I love this time of year. I mean, baseball, Major League Baseball has been in swing for a couple of weeks. How are your beloved Red Sox doing?
I wish I could tell you that I've watched a single game, but I haven't. It's just unfortunately as soon as baseball season hits for the rest of the world, my brain hits work mode a little bit too much.
Catch up over the winter months, I guess, but whatever the season was. Again, everything's happening over at Go-Mart Ballpark, the Go-Mart Home Run Derby. I appreciate you being here, Jill, and we'll see you over there Saturday. Thanks
Absolutely.
a lot.
Thank you.
A lot. Hey, if you're worried about paying for college, Metro News is proud to present the 18th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program. One high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan, including room, board, tuition, and fees. Details available, wvmetronews.com. Click the Apply Now button. You need to know, though, deadline is April 27th. 2025 West Virginia Scholar Program presented by the West Virginia Friends of Coal and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to wvmetronews.com to apply, and again, the deadline is April 27th. Biggly Piggly Wiggly Hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony V. Taylor text 304-935-5008. Delegate Hollis Lewis will join us a little bit later on. And next, we're going to talk to our friend Jason and Lisa from Union Mission. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you a physical therapy assistant and looking for an opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit generationspt.com.
I'm Doug Leach, founder and CEO of Ascension Recovery Services. We've done a number of projects with Jarrett Construction. Finding people that really care about what they do and care about what we do is pretty unique. In Jarrett Construction, they care. They're really, really good people. Good people do the right thing, and they're very skilled. They have all the qualities that make up just a perfect construction partner, and they just built us a phenomenal building.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
The latest in news, talk, and sports on 580 WCHS is brought to you by Jarrett Construction. Visit jarrett-construction.com for more information.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
Anyone can choose to make a difference. You can help people succeed, rebuild after disasters, protect the environment, or feed the hungry. Not only will you make a difference for others, but for yourself. You can earn money for college, learn career skills, and make friendships that last a lifetime. Make a difference. Choose your future. Choose AmeriCorps.
Brought to you by Volunteer West Virginia, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station.
When extreme weather strikes, tune to 580 WCHS for live coverage, news, and instructions. Our experienced team keeps you safe and informed during weather emergencies. Stay one step ahead with real-time updates on 580 WCHS. Your safety is our priority.
It is 9:21. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Meeks Rentals and Leasing, offering stress-free property management for both renters and property owners. Visit meeksrentals.com. Coming up a little bit later on the show, Delegate Hollis Lewis will join us. He's going to get his take on the recently completed session in the West Virginia legislature. That's on the way a little bit later on. TJ Meadows will also join us in the studio to give us a preview of Metro News Talk Line. That is coming up. Text says, Dave, going back to the Dirty Birds, please tell me they are not doing some kind of Pride Night. Well, they always have and they always will. I talked to Jill about that. Yeah, they're going to be doing a Pride Night this year. They've done it for the last several years. So Pride Night is back. Let's welcome in Jason Quintrell and Lisa Pack now from Union Mission. How you guys doing today?
We are doing great.
Right. Great. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you here as well. First of all, Jason, I want to start with you. I know that you folks were down in McDowell County. Of course, we had our thing we did out on the parking lot here where we asked for people to drop off donations. By the way, greatest listeners in the world that we have from all of our stations. I mean, we organized it, Rob Reel, Steve Animal, myself, you and Logan and all the folks here in the building. We organized it and you guys showed up. But it's the listeners that really did the heavy lifting and provided so much stuff. Talk about that just for a little bit.
Yeah, so the first trip, we filled a really large box truck full of air conditioners, dehumidifiers, shovels, anything that buckets, cleaning supplies. And that was the first trip that we went down. That's been quite a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And then this week we were able to go down and present a check to an organization down there that is still helping with cleanup.
Yeah.
And we were able to do that because of your listeners and what you guys did on that day. And it just an amazing time.
Well, we want to make sure people realize that the need is still there. I mean, we talked about it. Amanda and I did on the midday show last Friday, and I've told the story before. We thought it was going to be just this fun little segment about a restaurant that we do every Friday. We call it the Lunch Spot, and we interviewing a gentleman down there, what they call the Taco Man.
Taco Man.
The Taco Man, and he was on the show, and it turned, as Amanda said, we thought we were just going to talk about queso. And it turned into so much more because he told us about the need that those folks have down there and him closing his restaurant. And, he hooked up with the food bank across the street and cooked their food in his restaurant. Yep. And yesterday on Talkline, I think it was, no, actually a couple days ago, TJ and Dave Wilson did an interview with one of the county commissioners down there in McDowell County, and he talked about pretty strong words about how much the need is there. And the reason I bring that up to you guys is because I know you were boots on the ground down there.
Yeah, what I understand now is what they're needing people to be able to build. You think about all the small bridges going up in those hollers that people are using as their driveways or even having to cross in those creeks. That's what they're struggling with now is what I understand.
Right.
So
you can help.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Can they just contact you?
Absolutely.
If they, give me your phone number.
925-0366. You can ask for me, and we'd be glad to get back into this fight with these folks in Southern West Virginia.
Like this battle's been going on really with the situation in McDowell County. It's been going on before the floods, and now it's continued. And what happens is, unfortunately, people come down and they help with the cleanup. God bless them for doing that. But then they go back home and they're still. The Taco Man told us a story about a lady that was having to walk 6 miles down the railroad tracks to be able to get to her doctor appointment. And then he continues. Okay, so what are you guys here to talk about today? Lisa, Jason, as we point fingers at each other. Women on a Mission.
Women on a Mission is coming up May 7th. Treasures Beyond Measure. Lisa, you want to tell them a little bit about what's going on with that?
Sure.
And Lisa, you are the chair of the board. Is that right?
I am. Yes.
My boss. Yeah.
That's my boss. So look alive.
Yes, I'm trying. I'm setting
the
up
boss
straight.
is here.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, you're the chairperson of the board here at Union Mission. Talk about Women on a Mission.
Well, Women on a Mission is a luncheon we have every year to benefit the Union Mission, but also honor some amazing ladies from our community. And it'll be May 7th this year at the Charleston Marriott from noon to 1:30. It'll the 5 ladies that we're going to be honoring this year are Dr. Julie DeTemple, Courtney Laura, Anita Perdue, Jean Simpson, and Kelly Woodyard. And last year we had almost 350 people there, and we're looking forward to a really great event again this year.
And where can people get tickets for that?
online at the Union Mission.
Union Mission.
UnionMission.com.
WeFeedPeople.com or UnionMission.com.
Right.
Yes.
Talk about the criteria for these women that you're honored. What have they done?
Well, we have a little committee that meets, and we throw around names. There's so many women in our community that are very worthy of this honor, so it's really, really hard to narrow it down. Mm-hmm. But one who's community-minded, we focus on community service, on selfless service, on demonstrating kindness, and just helping in our community. All of the women have great achievements, but we focus on service and what they do for our community.
And how long have you folks been doing this?
About 6 years. I think this is our 6th. We had a several-year stop because of COVID.
Yeah. And the event is when and where?
May 7th at the Charleston Marriott, starting at noon.
And it sounds like you got a great lineup of folks that you're honoring this year. And I
we
know
do.
In the past you've honored a lot of great ladies who do great things. Yeah.
Yes.
So tell us about some of the other things going on with the Union Mission. We'll get back and we'll kind of wrap. We'll get back to women on the mission in a moment. But you guys you always get something going on. So tell me about some other things going on at Union Mission.
Yeah, we're always broadening our footprint in West Virginia. We're still sending out food to pantries all over the state. Thousands of pounds of food. We are still running our addiction recoveries, our behavioral health. We are still involved in homelessness, and that's a rough one. People all over the city are obviously dealing with that, and but it's something that we're very proud of getting people into housing on a regular basis. So.
And you do a lot. One of the things I really like about the mission, if you will, of Union Mission is when you talk about these things, a lot of times there's a stigma attached, and but you folks really specialize in helping people that want to help themselves.
Sure, because of the way we run our departments, there's an expectation, and we don't want somebody coming into our shelter and just staying at that level in life. We want that person to come into our shelter and then get a GED, and then get their job, and then save for a car, then save for an apartment, things like that. And that is the expectation.
And what are some of the things that you do to work towards those expectations?
So immediately during the assessment, we figure out the things that are barriers in life, meaning driver's license, meaning no birth certificate, no social security card, fines that they've had in their life. And this is recovery and homelessness, by the way. And we want to start immediately removing those things in their life so they can start seeing hope and some success. And then we bring in organizations like Truist and Huntington Banks, and they start teaching budgeting and practices, and we get them connected in our computer classes, and we start teaching them Microsoft, and if a lot of them already know that, but then we talk about resumes and such, and we just want to start that process of getting back into society.
Talking again with Jason Quintrell and Lisa Pack from Union Mission. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Their lead paint inspection risk assessment services designed to identify and to assess the presence of lead-based paint in buildings and other structures using a 3-phase approach of inspection, sampling, and lab analysis, and an assessment report. Visit pinnaclecorp.net because what you don't know can't hurt you. What are you guys doing over there? I've been down to read a sponsor here, and you guys are over here having way too much fun. That's one of the things I like about having you folks in the studio, and when we team up on these projects, Jason, as we've done in the past, let me say this to you, Lisa. Your boy's doing a good job here, okay?
Yes.
He's safe for a little while, I think.
He is.
Because we have fun when we do these things. I mean, you're not always dealing with the most pleasant things, but we always, when we're standing out on those parking lots, whether we're doing the event we do with the sock drop or whether we are collecting items for the flood victims or whatever, we do 2, 3, 4 things a year together. We always have fun.
Hey, you're there 6 hours anyway, right?
Yeah.
And so you might as well make it fun.
Yeah.
Might as well make it fun.
Lisa, let me get back to you. Why are you involved in Union Mission?
Well, I have been for about 20 years. I think my husband and I, Larry, just have a heart for what they do. And, they've been around for 113 years. They truly help the hurting people of West Virginia. That's kind of their logo. And that's what they do. I see that. That's what they do. Jason's built an amazing team that just have a heart for helping people.
Yeah, a couple of weeks, well, actually, I guess a couple of months ago, myself and Rob Reel from our sister station, 96.1 KWS, we got an invite to come out there and join you guys for lunch and to talk to your board about a little bit about ourselves, but more about you guys. And I was amazed when I went around the room and I talked to your employees there. I said board, but I really mean employees, and about the things that they do and that they bring to the table. And when you looked around that room of 10 people, I'm going to guess, one thing that Rob and I took away from that was you had a room full of people that truly loved what they do and truly loved their job.
Yeah, that's the thing that I love to do is educate and teach those folks and build them up. About 11 of our directors were there at the time, and they all, my gosh, I mean, they are so passionate about what they do, and I wanted you guys to see that.
Yeah,
and it was easy to see, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was, and I'm not just saying it because you fed us. Yeah. I mean, no, we would have been there anyway.
That was a plus too, though.
We would have been there anyway. But actually, we got in Jason's truck and went up to the different facilities that are there. Explain to people where you are for people that may not know.
Yeah, we're at 700 South Park, right across from CAMC Memorial. They used to call it back in the day Mission Holler. You go up and we're still there. We've got some building projects going on now, but yeah, that's the location. Been there for, since the 50s.
I was impressed when we took our little tour up there, as you called it, Mission Holler there, at the things that you have going on up there, because I mean, you were pointing to this building, that building, saying, okay, we're planning this for here, and we're doing this here, and you wouldn't be able to do this if you weren't already doing great things in the community, and if you didn't have the buy-in from the community. Lisa, I'm going to let you talk about that a little bit, the buy-in from some of these businesses and individuals that help out. That's a big part of it.
It's a huge part of it. And even with this event that we're doing, this Women on a Mission luncheon, that's what we've really tried to do is get businesses and folks in the community to and they buy in on what the Union Mission is doing. And it just having sponsors helps us support the daily work of the mission and what they do.
All right, here's the part that we put the plea out there. I mean, at this point, do you still need sponsors?
We do still need sponsors. Right. We have everything from $250 to $5,000.
Okay.
And,
is it, if a business is listening right now, a lot of business owners listen to this show, if they're listening right now, can they still become a sponsor if you need?
Absolutely,
you need to buy, are you selling tables and that sort of thing?
We are selling tables.
How does that work?
I will say that we are getting close to being sold out. I've probably got about 300 folks so far. We can hold about 340 to 350, but we'd love to have more sponsors.
All right. And how can they just reach out to Jason, the information you gave us earlier?
Yeah, give us a call at 304-925-0366, and we will get you to Lisa Pack and get that taken care of.
Yes. Right. And Dave, could I thank a few sponsors
you
who
can do whatever
are very
you want.
Key?
Go ahead.
I would like to especially thank Vandalia Health, CAMC. They've always been a very big supporter of the Union Mission, and my husband, Larry Pack, and his business partner, Steve White, have been big supporters of the mission, too. And this year, we have Huntington Banks, Garib Dental, Salango Law, and the Kurt Higginbotham family have been very supportive. And I've got a whole list of other sponsors, but those are our big sponsors this year.
All right. And we'd like to add your business or you as an individual to that list. And again, I'm sure, Lisa, you've got sponsor packages, but you'll also say, if you can donate, you'll take it. You're not going to turn anything away, right?
That's right. That's correct.
All right. Give us the details again, but the time and the date and things of that nature.
It is May 7th. That's a Wednesday at noon at the Charleston Marriott. Doors will open at 11:30. It should last about an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half.
Okay.
And we know it's a time sensitive thing. It's a luncheon, and we want everybody to know that we stick very close to that.
Try to get everybody back
in
to work.
And out, yeah.
And congratulations to those wonderful ladies that you mentioned there too, because those are some real go-getters in the Charleston community, and thank them for what they do as well.
Yes, it'll be a great day to get to hear a little bit from them and to honor them and just celebrate them.
All right, guys. Always appreciate you having you on the show, Lisa and Jason. Thanks a lot for being here, and best of luck with. And Jason, you and I will get together soon and see what we're getting into next.
Sounds good.
Because once I get, I get me and you, and I get Rob Reel, and I get Steve Animal involved, and I get Logan Scott and Steve and Jenny and Woody and all the folks here. We are, and this is going to sound like a commercial, but when you hear that tagline at the top of every hour that says, "We're proud to live here too," we are proud at this company, WVRC Media, to be part of the community. This is a West Virginia owned and operated company, and we believe in giving back. It's not just promotion for us. I mean, we really do, and we appreciate you allowing us to do that.
No, it's great. It's a great partnership. It's very easy to see your all's passion for the community, and it only allows us. It gives us an outlet. It gives us an area to serve and help more. I understand we're maybe coming this June. We're going to look to help some kids, aren't we?
Yeah. We got some. I'm not ready to reveal that yet, but we got some big announcements coming about one of our next big events we're going to be doing with this partnership. Lisa, Jason, I appreciate you guys being here.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lava. Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Husson's Pizza. Get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and a large tossed salad, $21.99. Eat in, pick up, or get delivery by going to Husson'sPizza.com. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text 304-935-5008. We'll take a break. Delegate Hollis Lewis coming up next, back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses bring first-class businesses to your community.
Opening day has arrived, and baseball is back for another season. And while you may not be joining the boys of summer on the field this year, that doesn't mean you can't still hit a home run.
It's way back. It's a home run.
Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is stacked with inventory this spring to help you find the perfect vehicle to get to the game or even just to the grocery store. But you know you're going to get the best deal possible at Walker because Gene and Ryan built their business the old-fashioned way by making friends. There are no gimmicks or games at Walker, just honest, fair deals. And don't forget, Walker is still buying cars too. Yeah, that's right. All makes and models are welcome at Walker, and they'll give you top dollar for yours, even if you plan to buy somewhere else. So knock one out of the park this spring and get into that new vehicle that you've been dreaming of.
A grand slam! Holy cow!
Just take the short 20-minute drive from Charleston or Huntington to Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, just off the Hurricane exit of I-64. Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, making friends one deal at a time.
It's official. Newsmax has become a news giant. It's even listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Over 40 million Americans regularly turn to Newsmax for the news they need to know. They're tuning into the Newsmax channel on all major cable systems. They watch Newsmax 2 on all streaming platforms. They go online to Newsmax.com for breaking headlines. Millions more have downloaded the free Newsmax app on their smartphone and home TV. Reuters says Newsmax is one of the top news brands in America. Even President Trump says Newsmax is terrific, and he's watching. Tens of millions of Americans like you have made the switch to Newsmax for the news they can trust. So make the switch today. You won't ever look back.
We got 21 minutes away from Tim and Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Bridge Valley, offering custom tailored trainings to supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text 304-935-5008. Let me knock out a couple of texts here. Well, when the person texted about the Pride Night over at Mart Ballpark with the Dirty Birds, it elicited some text. Some texter said, "What's the biggest problem with Pride Night? We will make you a deal. Shut up and don't go to the game." Text says, "There's nothing wrong with Pride Night. Pride Night wouldn't be necessary if people didn't use their religion to hate others' consensual lifestyles." Text says, "Dave, I see where ICE and law enforcement are detaining legal citizens. It's time people arm themselves and fight back. This could be you and your family." I want to welcome to the show our good friend Delegate Hollis Lewis. How you doing, man?
I am doing well, just a little tired, but thank you for having me on again.
You know, I asked you, and when I brought you in here, I said, welcome to our new studio. I forget you're a regular in here.
Yeah,
because you're on here with Carl Lee and Lisa Odie on Carl's podcast, which is just crazy good, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys just do a fantastic job with that podcast. What is it about the pod and Let's Talk is what it's called, with NFL great Carl Lee and Lisa Odie and yourself and other guests from time to time. What is it that you enjoy about doing that podcast so much? Get a little plug in for Carl.
Well, what's strange is that, Carl Lee, Coach Carl Lee, he was my football coach at West Virginia State, so he's my college football coach. So we had been having these talks for years. So this is just something that's, come from what we used to do to now we can do it on the radio, and we have guests, so we can actually just dive deep into sports, not just about, what's going on in the field or the court, but also social issues and different things around it.
It's good stuff. I mean, it really, really is. I love a good sports discussion. I can turn this show easily into a sports show every day, but they won't let me do that. All right, so I got to get back to the not so fun stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the legislature. Let's go back to the final night, Saturday night, Hollis. There were some, to put it mildly, some tense moments in the closing hour of the legislative session. What did you make of the proceedings there toward the end with the parliamentary procedures and things of that nature? Well, it all had to do with DEI. Okay, all right, talk about it.
Again, it's an important issue. Like I said, my emphasis and what I wanted to talk about that night was about history and make sure we teach holistic history. And when I say holistic history, we want to make sure that we teach all the parts that went into a historical event, that we don't omit individuals or, situations that happen. So as far as the procedural rules, it just was really disappointing that, Senator Garcia he wasn't allowed to enter his amendments, and, they suspended the own rules that they created, which was Joint Rules 3, I believe. And, just as was said, implemented some dirty tricks in order to get that DEI ban bill passed.
You hear the letters DEI, and I've talked about it on the show. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes that there is, it's not, how can I say this? Unlike other things that you folks in the legislature may focus on, sometimes things are very concrete. We're talking about something to do with voting. We're talking about something to do with business. You can look at it, you can say, this is what it is. But when you throw out those letters, DEI, it seems to mean different things to different people. And I'm not taking a side one way or the other. I'm just saying it's one of those rare things that you vote on, that you talk to this senator or this delegate and it means one thing. You talk to this senator or delegate, it means something else. Talk about that.
And I guess you could say that. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Okay. And again, just as I said on the floor, if you want to get rid of a diversity, equity, inclusion office at a university, I'm not for that. I do not support that, but fine. But I believe that this particular bill, it was overly broad and it went too far, because what's going to end up happening, particularly as it becomes teaching our kids in high school and middle school, particularly about history, West Virginia history, world history, American history, I think some teachers are going to be hesitant to do that because in fear that they may offend, certain people and they may get reported. So I just think, a bill like that, it goes too far. And when we just use those phrases, the DEI phrase, it becomes like this boogeyman. And
what does it mean to you? What does DEI mean to you, to Delegate Hollis Lewis?
I just means it means including everybody. It means it means learning a little bit about everybody. As far as history, it means, like I said, I use the frame holistic history. It means that if I'm going to be, working in the public sector, that I'm going to be trained on cultural competency, so I know how to deal with individuals from all spectrums. Because, for example, when you take a state like West Virginia has about 4 or 5 cultures just within it. You take Southern West Virginia, you take the Eastern Panhandle, the Northern Panhandle, North Central West Virginia, all different cultures. Charleston, it's all different cultures. So we have to, even within our state, have to learn about one another. So it's just like learning those things about people that if in your community that you may not know.
What would you say to those who have the idea, and I'm talking about not necessarily in the Capitol Dome, I'm talking about Joe or Joanne average, just out on the streets or whatever, that think, well, DEI, it just gives people unfair advantages. You're going to be hired for a job just because you're a certain color or just because you're this or that. What would you say to that?
Well, I think number one, it's a merit-based program any way you look at it. So if you work at a law firm and they have a quote-unquote DEI initiative, you still have to be an attorney. You still have to pass the bar. You still have to go to law school. So you still have to be qualified to get the position. So you're not going to get a position or be hired into a position in which you aren't qualified for. I think that, when we talk about DEI or diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives, we're just trying to round out. We're trying to get a more rounded perspective of the people that we have employed or the people that are in this program. So I think, and again, it helps all. It's not, and I think too often we look at like black and white, right? It's about women. It's about LGBTQ. It's about ADA individuals. Veterans. It's about a bunch of people who we're saying that if we have a veteran in a school, that's going to make our school better. We have a woman in the police department. That's going to make our police department better.
Talking to Delegate Hollis Lewis, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Live Healthy, West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine, tackling all sorts of important health issues. Great resource. Check out the latest episodes, WVMetroNews.com, to the podcast menu. Start your journey towards better health today. Let's talk about, Delegate, the session as a whole. Rate your satisfaction level on the session.
Probably, I would say, I'm a professor at West Virginia State, so I'm going to go a D-.
Okay.
I think that, we were actually able to do some good things, I guess you could say, as far as giving teachers more autonomy as far as discipline is concerned. I think one of the governor's initiative, which I thought was okay, was a one-stop shop as far as the permitting process. So if you are trying to get those permits, you can go online and do that. And there's actually time and consideration, interventions in the classroom, different things of that nature. One of my friend, Delegate Hall, out of St. Albans, he had a full-time dementia service director, which I think is an excellent idea. However, I don't think we've adequately attacked those kitchen table issues when we talk about, increased utility rates, when we talk about economic development, clean water, when you talk about those things that are going to affect West Virginia's everyday life, we still didn't really tackle those issues. PEIA is still a huge problem.
And we have a foster care issue in this state. We have a child care issue in this state in general.
100%.
Delegate. And I've heard a lot of people on both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, that have said little was done there.
Little was done. I mean, and again, it's a huge problem. So that's not an easy fix, and that's not something that we can, just fix overnight or even with a single bill. It's going to be something that systematically we have to get to the heart of. And I think it's one of those things in which when we talk about our, kind of the elephant in the room here in West Virginia, we talk about our drug issue. We have to figure out a way to deal with that, not only as far as treatment is concerned, but prevention and just a holistic treatment around that.
The governor, Delegate, on the midday show earlier this week said there will be a few special sessions. He alluded to them earlier as like the long, hot summer. He did that early on. He said that the special sessions are coming for sure. What do you want to see covered in those special sessions?
Again, I want to see, like I mentioned, I want to see utility rates. I want to see us try to talk about PEIA. I want us to see us address clean drinking water. I want us to see, I want to see us help, counties like McDowell County who are struggling, not only with, the flooding that happened, but also their infrastructure and just where they're going to go from here. Once thriving county who's on the brink of being, taken over by the state. So we have to address those sort of issues. We have to address our economic issues. It's a bunch of issues we need to address here in West Virginia, Medicaid, all those sort of things.
Delegate, before we let you go, I know you are someone who really engages with your constituents. Yeah. You're very big on social media. You're regularly, as we said, cheap plug for the podcast, you and Carl and Lisa on Let's Talk. What do you hear from your constituents? I know the session just gabbled out, at midnight on Saturday, but what have you heard so far from them about the session, and what do you hear from them on a regular basis? Just if you pass somebody in a supermarket or whatever, what do you hear from your constituents?
I think a lot of people just don't understand what we're doing up there. I think they're thinking of it, as I don't want to say a waste of time, but why aren't we tackling those important issues? Why are we spending so much time on defining the man and woman or different things of that nature? When we, like I said, and I hate to keep going back to it, but people are concerned about the grocery prices, the utility bills. We have a large portion of our population who work at a state level government job, and PEI rates are rising and salaries aren't. When we talk about economic development, we introduced several recreational cannabis bills, adult use cannabis bills that, went nowhere. So people are concerned about those issues, what we call kitchen table issues that's going to affect their bottom line as families.
Delegate Hollis Lewis, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you being
Thank
here.
you for having me.
Vaccines are your best protection against severe disease from flu and COVID-19. If you're 65 or older, risk less, do more with this season's vaccines. Get started at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for shopping locally.
Poca Valley Bank has a new name. We are now simply Poca Valley, and here is why we're changing. Our place in the community goes beyond banking. While we still provide the finest in banking services, we also bring excellence in wealth management and financial planning, accounting, and bookkeeping services. Whether you're planning for the future or managing today, we offer the expertise you need. With 8 convenient locations, we're here to help you thrive. Discover the difference at Poca Valley. Relationships matter. Member FDIC.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Anyone can choose to make a difference. You can help people succeed, rebuild after disasters, protect the environment, or feed the hungry. Not only will you make a difference for others, but for yourself. You can earn money for college, learn career skills, and make friendships that last a lifetime. Make a difference. Choose your future. Choose AmeriCorps.
Brought to you by Volunteer West Virginia, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Join the 9th annual Race Into Racism on April 26th at 9 a.m. Sponsored by TC Energy, Toyota, and Huntington National Bank. YWCA Charleston invites you to join the pre-race to end racism events. The YWCA Charleston is proud to announce the dedication of its newly named Catherine Kitty Dooley Center for Community Enrichment, honoring Dooley's lifelong commitment to justice, equity, and community service. A special dedication ceremony will be held on April 17th at noon at 412 Elizabeth Street, Charleston. Sign up today at ywcacharleston.org/race.
We got 8 minutes away from 10. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony V. Taylor text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you in part by Snap Fitness. Snap has a wide selection of equipment, including free weights, cardio machine weights, and more. They have 5 great locations: Charleston, Hurricane, Winfield, Barbersville, and Milton. Visit snapfitness.com for more details. Do want to throw this out there from a good friend and frequent guest on the show, Jim Workman from Wally and Wimpy Sports Digest. He's doing up another Wally and Wimpy's night tonight at Buffalo Wild Wings in Cross Lanes, 6 till 7:30. Lots of food, fun, and prizes with a good friend Jim from the state's premier sports publication, Wally and Wimpy's. It's tonight at Buffalo Wild Wings in Cross Lanes, so be sure and check that out. Coming up on tomorrow's show, we're going to get an update on some things going on at West Virginia International Yeager Airports. We're going to talk about the annual Tunnels to Towers Foundation 5K Run and Walk coming up in Ripley. And Angie Gillenwater is here with our Adopt Me Please Pet of the Week from the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association. That's all on tomorrow's show. Now, on Metro News Midday today, powered by Salango Law, I'm flying solo today as Amanda Barron, 13 News and Tonight Live anchor, will be off today. She's actually off on assignment doing something for that TV thing that she does. But I'll somehow get through it today. On the show today, a couple of state senators in separate segments. Joey Garcia will be here, as well as Rupi Phillips. Joey Garcia, the Democrat, and Delegate Phillips, the Republican. A couple of guys who know a lot about politics in West Virginia, Mike Plant and Tom Sussman, will be here. April is Organ Donation Month. We've been spotlighting a success story in the field of organ transplant. We'll introduce you to yet another success story. And, of course, Open Line West Virginia Metro News Midday with me, flying solo today, powered by Salango Law, coming up at noon to 3 on this and many other Metro News stations. Wow, got a lot of text to get to. Let me see here. I'm not going to be able to get to all of them, so I'll get to as many as I can. Text says, sorry to break it to you, but most Americans don't want actual history. Most Americans want the Disney-fied history that makes them feel good and patriotic, not the history of slavery, genocide, and oppression, and how those resonate into today. Text says, it's only Republicans who use whatever definition of DEI they want. They are scared to say they prefer whites and don't want to help minorities. Is it DEI to say that the slave trade was bad, that the U.S. government engaged in genocide against Native Americans, that the redlining in the 60s disadvantaged blacks, that ICE is racially profiling Hispanic Americans, that police systematically violate civil rights of non-whites, etc.? Yes, if you are Republicans have no honor or integrity. Text says the only time that cannabis legislation is a kitchen table issue is after you fired one up and have the munchies. As a texter. That even got a smile out of TJ Meadows. Text says, any chance of a 60s night? Some Elvis, some Beatles, etc. Well, I think that was in reference to the Dirty Birds. Jill Gearin, if you're listening, somebody wants a 60s night over there. Text says, Dave, religious leaders need to attend events like Pride Day at the ballpark and invite people to church. That's what God called you to do. You don't have a problem supporting a sex assault felon. Text says, all my utilities have gone up 150 to 200% since Republicans took over the legislature. Need to vote on Public Service Commission, not allow governor to appoint people to those positions. TJ is here. How you doing, man?
I'm good. It doesn't matter who's in office. Your utility rates would go up regardless.
Yeah.
It's all about how many people you have here to cover the cost. Look, it's kind of like the price of oil. People want to blame whoever's in the White House. The politicians want to say the other party's in charge. That's why your gas is going up. Hogwash. It's all about the market. It's all about the number of people paying into the system. It's all about a huge amount of fixed costs that we have to cover in this state, a state that's a very hard topography to cover to provide any kind of utility, and not having enough people paying in.
All right. I knew as soon as we said utilities that you'd want to jump in.
It's not just utilities. It's any kind of business, man. I mean, come on. Look, I'm not trying to disparage people or knock on them for hard times, because things are getting more expensive.
Yeah.
And it's getting harder and harder to afford the basic necessities. But that is a symptom of a much larger problem we have here in West Virginia. And it all boils down, Dave, we don't have enough people working. We don't have enough people that live here. And this is a tough state to live in, especially from a topography perspective. Yes, these mountains are beautiful. I love this state, but it's tough to live here. So until we get honest about these problems and try to do something to fix the problem that will then fix these symptoms.
How are you going to fix topography, though?
Well, I mean, look, Colorado has topography, but they have people. It'll always be expensive to build things, but if you got enough people to cover the cost.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the problems, and we talked about a little bit on the show with some of the areas that are repeatedly flooded. It's a much larger issue, and some people would say, well, why don't you just move? I get that sentiment.
Sure.
However, you're dealing with a lot of these areas that get flooded on a regular basis. And I'm not talking about the occasional flash flood that we have in West Virginia. I'm talking about the ones in southern West Virginia, McDowell County, Wyoming County, Mingo County, Logan County. These areas are frequently flooded.
You and I grew up there. We've seen it all our lives.
Boone County, I'll throw in your native land of Boone County in there. We see this a lot. It's not as easy as telling people to move, because in many cases, you're dealing with folks that are disadvantaged economically. Not saying it's anybody's fault. Sometimes it's their own fault. I won't call it like it is. I mean, sometimes it is their own fault. Sometimes it's not. They own property. Mamaw, Papaw own this property. They're not going to leave they don't want to leave the hollers.
Paid for.
Very, very low cost to live there as far as property taxes and things of that nature. So there's a lot of problems. You and I will not solve them. I even got a snicker out of you when the person said that the only time that cannabis is a kitchen table issue is when you get the munchies. That was a texter that said that, not me. All right. What's up?
I have a sense of humor despite what people may think.
You do have a sense. I share an office with you, and I do know that you do have a sense of humor.
Yes.
Yeah, we have quite fun in our office.
We do.
There. It's me and you and Bobby and Leah and Amanda. We all share
Don't forget our putting green.
And a putting green and a disco. We're the only office in the building with a putting green and a disco ball. All right, what you got on the show today, buddy?
Oh, you can't make this stuff up. Hobby's on at 11:06. That'll be fun. Jeff Jenkins stops by at 10:33 to tell us about everything that's going on the Turnpike. We start the show with Fairmont State political science professor Greg Noon. We're going to talk about El Salvador, jailing Americans down there, get his take, see what the law says. There's an idea. Let's see what the law says.
And what a novel concept.
Yeah.
Text says TJ is from Boone County. That explains a lot.
Yes, it does. And I'm proud to be from a product of Sylvester, West Virginia.
Downtown Sylvester, not the suburbs.
That's
Downtown
right. That's
Sylvester.
right.
All right.
The main streets.
We got to go. I'll see you later today on Metro News Midday. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS-AM, W243DRFM Charleston, and W283AQ Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here, too.